John Marquis here, founder and CEO of MyBuilderCPA, and let's talk about what we can offer as far as forecasting and budgeting. So we have at least 3 features that incorporate forecasting and budgeting. And if you're interested in any of these features, since they are forward-looking, they would require the purchase of our Tier 1 Pro Growth plan. So this is really focused on helping you set goals for the future and achieve those goals. So first, we'll talk about the annual budget that we create in the fourth quarter of the year. And so that will be sometime between October 1st and December 1st. Really, we should not be working too late in December on budget. We really want to get this settled in October or November, and maybe the final draft in the middle of December before the holidays. And to develop a good budget, we need to look at a number of things. We have a template that we use. If you do use classes in QuickBooks Online, we create a different tab for each class, but usually we just have your expense categories and then a column for each month. So we do want your budget to be broken down by month. It's really important for us to be able to finish a month and run a budget versus actuals report out of QuickBooks so you can assess your own progress compared to your goals. We start the budget in a Google Sheet so that both of us can collaborate on it. You can edit or you can just leave comments. We will definitely have to have a budget season kickoff call. So I have that Calendly type ready to go for you to schedule. And I will be asking a lot of questions. It will be you getting interviewed and me writing down all of your responses. I want to know all about your goals, really starting from the bottom up. What do you want your profit to be for the coming year, and how can we make that happen? It has to be a realistic profit goal. And then we have to look at your overhead expenses. And then we have to look at how many jobs you need to complete at what kind of a markup and margin in order to meet the number at the very bottom, your net income, AKA profit. So we look at, these trends. We don't necessarily have to have specific jobs identified, but at least it will give you a realistic goal of how many jobs you need to sell and complete in the coming year in order to meet your goals. It gets even more tricky if you're on a path of high growth because we need to factor that in somehow, and it can be full of unpredictable aspects. Are you going to have the team that you need? Are you going to have the cash flow that you need? All that kind of stuff. But our budget does focus on profit and loss, not so much balance sheet. Forecasting a cash account a year at a time can be a little bit more tricky. So we try to do that every week. So if you do sign on for the Tier 1 Pro Growth plan, we'll be preparing a weekly reporting package inside which we look at all of your recurring expenses that hit every month. We'll drop those in. We'll look at specific accounts payable items that you want to pay. We'll drop those into the forecast. We'll also inquire about incoming draw payments that you'll be receiving. We'll drop those into the cash forecast. And then basically we sort our sheet by date, and we have a column for the running balance. And we should be able to pinpoint what your cash balance will be in the coming days, weeks. And if we can get more advanced with the knowledge that you give us about your situation, we would love to cash flow forecast, months into the future. So that's the difference between the annual budget that is prepared in the fourth quarter versus the weekly cash flow forecast. A couple other things to keep in mind. We do ask that you have been a client for 9 months so that we really know your situation and we can prepare a reliable budget. At the end of the day, a budget is a guess. There's a lot that can change. Think of the COVID years. I think everyone's budgets just were totally destroyed during that time period because nobody saw what was coming. In my personal view, it's better to make a bad guess than no guess at all, because at least we can try to make a plan of how we're going to deliver on our budget. We do plan to only update the budget once per year, so that's kind of locked in place for the company as a whole. So if we were to have some huge material change in the middle of the year, we probably still would not update the budget. That would be quite a special situation for us to go through the whole budgeting process over again, because keep in mind, it's a pretty long process. So our goal is to conduct the budget interview with you, prepare one draft. We review it together. You give us all of your comments. Maybe you say, oh no, this office supplies expense, that looks way too high. We're going digital. We're going to save tens of thousands of dollars. You can pull that out. So we work through all of the draft 1 comments. We make our adjustments, and then we deliver draft 2 to you. And the goal is that that will be final. And then we have someone on our team upload or manually enter it into QuickBooks, because we really do want the convenience of being able to run the budget versus actuals reports right out of the system. Then we have a 15-year living projection. So that can be done at the same time as the annual budget. So the annual budget can look at the year that's immediately in front of us, and then the 15-year living projection can look at the next 15 years. We'll plan to only update that once per year in the fourth quarter at the same time that we do the budget. And this might be helpful if you're trying to build a business that can be sold later on. Maybe you want to retire in 15 years, and this living projection will map out your goals and how we can make that happen. So I hope this gives you a better understanding of the annual budget, the annual 15-year living projection, and then the weekly cash flow forecasting. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.